Hi everyone. So last video we talked about numbers. This video I want to talk about a different value uh, called string. But before I do that, I just want to mention uh, another operation that we have. So last time we talked about how you could do different operations between numbers. So you could do plus, minus, multiply, and divide. What else could you do? You could also do something called modulo. Okay, and that's really important in computer science, modulo. What does it do? It returns the remainder. So when you divide 10 by 3, so 3 goes into 10 three times with 1 as a remainder. So the result of this would be 1. Okay, and also I want to show you another thing in JavaScript. So when you want to print stuff, you see, until now, if we would write something like this and run it, it works. It works, no errors, no anything, but we don't see the results. If we want to see the results, we need to do something like this. We need to print it to the screen or log it to the screen. So I know that this looks strange because it is strange and we didn't get there yet, but I don't want you to focus on this too much. I just want you to know that this, what it's doing is it's just going to print something to the screen. It's going to print what this is to the screen, the result of this operation or anything that we put into here. If it's valid JavaScript, it will print it to the screen. So let's print. And as you can see, we get 20. And here we talked about what does modulo do? And as you can see, it returns the remainder 1. Okay. It's just because I need to use this a lot to show you guys, how the code works. So that's why I'm introducing it. But this is an object, and this is a method of that object, and those are things that are advanced, and we're going to get into later. But we will be using console.log. Okay. So now let's talk about strings. So strings are stuff that look like this. Basically, anything that you put in between quotes or double quotes or backticks is a string. Okay, so you could put anything in here, and it's regarded as a string. But except for something like this. What if you wanted to put a space inside the string? Like you want to represent characters that you can't we don't have a next line character, right? So this is how we do a next line character. We do a escape key, a backslash, and a n, and this is a next line. Okay, and we could also do a tab, and we could do other stuff. But what if we did want a backslash in our code? Then we would do this. This tells JavaScript that we want to actually just show a backslash in our code. Okay, now I actually want to get into, this is another way to represent strings when you use backticks. And backticks are really important in JavaScript because it allows you to embed JavaScript into the string. So what do I mean by that? When you do something that like this is the syntax. Whatever is inside these curly braces will be interpreted as JavaScript, and the value that's returned will be converted to a string and will be embedded into the macro string. So let's say if I did 1 plus 1, then you could already guess what we're going to see printed to the screen. Hello 2. But if we were to do just this on the side, then this will remain 1 plus 1. It will not be interpreted as JavaScript. Yeah, so this is very powerful. And another thing about backticks is that we could jump lines, and it will be able to interpret those next lines correctly. Something that we cannot do with regular double quotes. This will not work. See, error. Also because of actually that would be okay. It would just be interpreted as a $sign. But the issue here is that we're jumping lines. So if you want to jump lines, you got to use backticks. Or if you want to use JavaScript inside your string, you would also use backticks. So the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to strings is comparing strings. So you could compare strings like this. Okay. You know, before I talk about what this is, I want to tell you about another value, and that's booleans. Okay, now booleans is just true and false. Those are the only values that booleans could be, either true or false. And we have Boolean operations, and those Boolean operations are smaller than, greater than, equal, smaller or equal, or bigger or equal. These are all the Boolean operations, and when you perform a Boolean operation, you will get a Boolean result, meaning you will get a true or false result. So when you put in something like this, the result would be either true or false. And over here it's false because these are actually equal. Now, what does it actually mean when we compare strings? How do they compare? They compare the ASCII codes. What's ASCII? This is ASCII. Every character that you see in coding has a value. Okay, and as you can see, a capital A has the value of 65 up until Z, which has a value of 90. Lowercase English alphabet characters go from 97 to 122. And that's how they're compared as well in the string. It compares A to A, and it does it character by character. A to A, it checks, is A greater than A, or is A equal to A in our case, because we're doing equal. Is B equal to B? Is C equal to C? Yes. If it looked something like this, then we would check, is A smaller than A? No. Is B smaller than B? No. Is C smaller than C? No, because every step of the way we got that it's not smaller than, we got false. But if we were to add here D, now this accumulative value is actually greater than ABC. We will see this further down in the dictionary than we would see this, I'm pretty sure. As you can see, it returns true. Now, you could also perform these Boolean operations with numbers. If it wasn't obvious already that we could compare the strings, then of course we could compare numbers. Okay, and as you can see, it works just the same. It returns a Boolean value, and Boolean values are just true and false. And keep in mind that when you do equal, you use two equal signs, okay, not one, because one equal sign means something else in JavaScript. So I'm going to end the video here, and we'll continue on the next one. Bye-bye.